This video is for entertainment purposes only. We in here. Greetings. Vaughn. Glad you're here, baby, because you know what to do with this live, baby. Hey, baby. Divine gratitude. Divine gratitude. Vaughn X9, what's going on? I came in the live already talking smack right out the gate. Titled it, let me get some of y'all together. Let's see who you putting in their place. Let's see who you putting in their place. How far back should my wig be today? You got some wigs? You might need a couple extra ones. Hey! You finally made another line. Been a minute since a midday live. I know it has. It has been a minute since a midday live. I had the time to do it, so I decided to do it. Hey, brother. You know what, brother? I was going to call you before I did this live, but then I said, you're probably still taking a nap. I didn't think you'd be up. How far should my wig be? Y'all are killing me with that today. You're like, how far back should my wig be? Healthy Creative Gardens. What'd she do now? I'm not here to talk about that, broad. That's not why I'm here, honey. Just take the wig off now and set it to the side and hold on to your edges. Y'all crazy. Hey, listen. I came forth to do this live because you guys got a chance to see what you call the dark feminine come out. I think that I explained to you once before that I am a neutral being. And I don't know if you guys knows what it means to be neutral. Okay? But I am a neutral being at the core. That also means that I have the ability to invoke the benevolent side of myself. I also have the ability to invoke the malevolent side of myself or the darker side of myself. And sometimes dark doesn't necessarily mean malevolent. Okay? Although I do have that side as well, if you push me far enough. What you guys saw was a darker side come out, the darker feminine. The darker feminine of divine justice is what you guys saw come out of me the other day. That's what I invoked. This is the reason why I said to you guys, I allow my shadow to come out. So anytime you ever hear me say that my shadow's coming out, I'm telling you in advance so that way you're prepared to know what you're dealing with. Now, I saw little comments. I saw people making comments like, take 5 steps forward, take 10 steps back. And I actually commented back to that person. I said, who are you talking about? Who are you talking to? Who are you talking about? Of course, I didn't get a response back from that individual. Now, I think that people are under the misconception about when you decide to bring correction, what does that actually look like? Do you think that bringing correction is something pretty? Is that what you think bringing correction is? Do you guys have an ideology in your head about what it's supposed to look like? Just because a person is healing when they come and bring correction, do you have an idea in your head of what you think that's supposed to look like? I want to explain something to y'all. True freedom is when you come into a space where you're not concerned with how the people think about you or how people perceive you. Other people's opinions do not sway you in that way. That is true freedom. Because no one knows you better than you. No one knows the trials that you've been through better than you. No one knows where you came from. No one knows the struggles that you've been through better than you. Nobody knows that better than you. So I look at people's opinions as just simply that. They're simply opinions. They're not going to affect me one way or another. But to the collective, I'm here to make this a teachable moment for all of you. Okay? Yes, you will see me in my divine feminine as you're seeing me right now. Okay? Sweet, kind, soft-spoken. But if I activate that dark feminine within me, she ain't nothing to play with. She's not nice. She's not kind. She is about justice. She is not here to put flowers and rainbows in play. That's not what she's here for when I call her forth. She is the sword. She has the sword. Her sword is unyielding and it is swift. And it will cut you down in a heartbeat with straight truth bombs. She is no nonsense. You may know her in the tarot as the Queen of Swords. Very no nonsense, cuts to the chase, speaks it for what it is, doesn't sugarcoat anything to anybody else's liking. I want you guys to understand that. So when you see me invoke the dark feminine, I don't invoke the dark feminine just to invoke the dark feminine. If I invoke the dark feminine, it's because I'm bringing justice. That's what that's about. I need you guys to understand that. Does that mean that I'm still not healing? No, it does not. It just simply means that I know how to apply energies when they need to be applied. And I know how to apply pressure in the areas that need to be applied to when necessary. So you guys got to start understanding how these things work. Start utilizing your power in a way that is effective, not destructive. There's a difference. Duality. Someone said, you should be able to express either side. I thought it is duality. It absolutely is. And you shouldn't be afraid to express those sides of yourself out. Because I guarantee you, nobody else has the problems expressing their sides out. If you come from me. If you're throwing witchcraft. If you're trying to spiritually attack. If you're putting lies out there on me. For no justifiable reason. If these things are being done. Then I'm just going to assume that you want the attention that you're asking for. It's just that my turn up is a little bit different. That's all. It's just a little bit different, a little bit more raw, and can be a lot more chaotic, if need be. But I'm still divine feminine, ladies and gentlemen. I want you guys to understand that. When I speak truth, you're going to know that I'm speaking truth. Period. I always tell people, find somebody or somewhere safe to play. That's in your best interest. Because I like to chill. I like to hang out. I like to teach. I love to love on people. I love to do all these things. The thing that really trips me out is how the community always wants to cast judgment. It's okay when they do it, but when I do it, it's a problem. Whomever left that comment is most likely projecting. They probably don't even know who their shadow side is. Boom. I'm so glad you addressed that demon. My justice is finally being served. Oh, I did not know that. Goddess warrior, the F they thought. Smurfette, Smurfette. So I'm here simply teaching you, or what you're witnessing. I'm showing you how one of the ways that I apply pressure. Okay? I don't like for people to play with me. And it's a matter of respect because, you see, these people out here on the internet, they're keyboard warriors. Everybody's all hard and all this and all that behind the keyboard, hiding behind faces, talking smack as keyboard gangsters. I need you guys to understand that I'm cut from a different cloth. I don't come from this, whatever this is, this new age generation, whatever these folks be up to. I'm not on that. I come from a different cloth. You see where I'm from. Where I'm from, you can't talk crazy to people or do things to people and think that people ain't gonna come see you. That's where I come from. Okay? It doesn't work like that. Okay? That's just the way I was raised. If there's a problem, let's have a discussion. Now, I would have loved to have had a discussion with that individual on the phone. However, I don't know how to reach that individual anymore on the phone. And so when they decide to take war to me on the internet, well, then I had to respond in kind on the internet. It's called matching energy. Got a chin choke, folks. Otherwise, they will continue with their foolishness. Thank you. That's all it is. That's all it is. But you guys have got to stop with this. Oh, I never thought in a million years that I would ever see the community do this and do that. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Because y'all be looking at the conscious community, or excuse me, the spiritual community. You see, the problem is you guys fantasize the spiritual community too much. What you think that being spiritual, that there isn't any negativity that comes from it from time to time? You can't be serious. What you think that when you're spiritual, that you're going to be always vibrating high all the time? Do you think that when you're spiritual, you're not going to have to bring correction? Do you think that when you're spiritual, there's a spiritual wars taking place? Of course that's taking place on a consistent basis. It happens on all realms. So above, so below. You can't escape it. So no matter how much you try to look at the community and try to peg the community as this, that, and the third, it happens every day in real life. Every day in real life. Balance. Boom. That is correct. Balance. Yeah, that is why they think, and then when they are confronted with the reality, they can't deal with it. Of course not. Shit ain't all love and light, cost driven. Boom. Hey man, shit's real, especially when folks playing checkers. That's a fact. Okay? I want you guys to understand and do not get me misconstrued or anybody else misconstrued for that matter. Things happen. Look, our community in particular is one of the most unhealed communities, okay, to exist. We weren't taught how to express. We weren't taught how to have proper communication. We weren't taught to learn how to be seen and heard because our family didn't see and hear us when we were younger. Okay, there's a lot of unhealed traumas and stuff like that that goes on with a lot of people within the community. This is why I promote and push the healing so much. You got to promote and push it and push it and push it. But that doesn't mean that just because you're healing that you allow people to disrespect you. You don't allow people to disrespect you. Okay? You don't allow people to disrespect you. Healing doesn't mean doormat. Healing doesn't mean you turn the other cheek. That's religion. That's religion. Okay? Now, it'd be one thing if I didn't know who the individuals were. They probably would have never got a response from me at all. Because people that I don't know, I don't give them a response. I don't know you, won't have no interaction with you. And on top of that, you're mad because you're not me. Okay? Which is normal. People get on one. You're going to always have somebody talking about you. You're always going to have somebody talking crazy about you that don't know you. That's normal, right? You ignore that noise. But when you have individuals that, I won't say they know you, but they know of you and they may have worked with you to some capacity. Okay. And then all of a sudden they come out and do certain things. Well, now I have to address you now. Now you have to be addressed. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with expressing. And no one gets to tell you how to express. No one gets to dictate to you how you should express. And just because they see an expression a certain particular way doesn't mean that you fall into the same mode or the same category. Everybody's different. Everybody's dark side is different. Okay? I was just saying that I'm a star. I ain't taking shit from nobody, not even family. And you shouldn't. I do it when necessary on my lives. Sometimes you got to come out and you got to say it for what it is. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't ever feel bad whenever you feel the need to express. Sometimes, some people need an ass whipping. Sometimes it's required. Sometimes. Some things I'll ignore and go on about my business, but like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's whatever with me. You know what I'm saying? You caught me on a whatever day. I don't feel like it right now. And then other times I may just give you what you're looking for, but there is a deeper reasoning why I responded. And like I said, I didn't expose everything. I didn't expose everything. But aside from that, I want you guys to continue to keep moving forward. And shouts out to those who have the ability to be able to discern. Shouts out to all of you. I'm dealing with a similar situation with my baby's daddy. Placed a boundary aggressively. Now I'm the bad guy, not tolerating any disrespect. Set those boundaries. Expansive Omni said, you gave just enough and you peeped it. You saw straight through her eyes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I wasn't falling for the okie doke because I already knew what that was. I saw the bait. I saw the trap. I saw the reasons why it was being done. I saw the harvesting of energy. I saw what the hopeful outcome was going to be. I saw all of it. I seen right through it. See, the goal was to get everybody else to argue and getting everybody else upset and all that. So certain energy could be harvested. Well, that backfired. Because I already knew what the play was. We set boundaries. They call it sassy. Coolio with, yes, baby, you need to do your spiritual baths because that's really going to help you a lot when it comes to cleansing yourself off. And it's really funny because I even seen a couple of people making a mockery about that. But see, one thing Source explained to me the other day was that Source said when somebody gives you information from a certain level. When I told y'all to take those baths, you see, there was a reason why I told you that information. That came directly from source. Those who take the baths will receive assistance in getting themselves cleared off. Those who choose not to will remain in their NPC status and will not be able to discern and will be taken advantage of. That's how this goes. So you also have to recognize the ranking of a person, of an individual. You have to recognize that. A lot of y'all like to get caught up in the flesh. And even though I do have a high rank even in the flesh, I also have a high rank even in the cosmos. And I exercise that power at will when need to, when it's necessary. This is the reason why I tell you all the time, you got to be careful about how you talk to people. You have to be careful about who you're talking to and how you're talking to them. Because it's not so much that I'm going to do something to you. It's everything that comes with me that doesn't appreciate the disrespect. Now, I don't have no say so if my protection decides to go upside your head. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I didn't command that to happen. They act on their own. You've been telling us to take our spiritual baths for a minute. Exactly. That's so you know your own energy. That's for your benefit. That's for y'all, to help y'all out in your discernment. Amani. That's for y'all's benefit. I do what I'm supposed to do. Yes. It's going to be saved. That's what I be telling people. Be careful how you treat people. Karma is an MFer. You know what's even more funny about that? It becomes a problem when you find out that karma is the person who you went up against aspect. You got to be careful about that. You got to be real careful with that. You're absolutely correct. What you just said is correct. At the Rio, what you said is absolutely 1,000% correct. See, here's the thing. What really concerns me about the community itself is the fact that there are a lot of practitioners out here that get themselves involved in things based on what somebody tells them, and they don't do their necessary checks until after the fact. So then what happens is those practitioners that get involved with lies and deceit, guess what? Depending on who you're moving up against and depending on what they know, some individuals have the power to call down judgment on that individual and everybody that they're associated with that participated in all of that. Now, you guys have been rocking with me for quite some time, and you saw me evolve over the last 5 years. You saw me evolve. You saw my teachings evolve. You saw me expanding. You're seeing my inner changes going through the changes I'm going through right now. That's now coming to the outer part of myself. I even told y'all that there are certain cosmic courts and spiritual courts that I have the ability to access. And I know how to apply. I know what I need to do in that arena. Some people are going to have to find out the hard way. King exclusive. Evolving is constant, a true God. That is correct, baby. You just told someone that this rising? Yeah, you can't listen. You can't be running up on just anybody. You can't be talking crazy to anybody. You can't be going out here trying to spiritually attack different folks. Now, some people are more tapped into themselves than others. I'm more tapped into myself than others. I took the time out to really sit with myself and learn myself and continue to learn myself and continue to learn myself and continue to expand. So a lot of times when I'm talking, I lose a lot of y'all. And that's okay. I realize that. And I was even told, you got to create a bridge to kind of get them to meet you where you are, Isis. You can't just say this, that, and the third because you're going to lose folk. Yes, I understand. And I have to create the bridge. It's called the bridge of understanding. Okay? I have to create the bridge of understanding. People need to learn to leave people alone. That's my problem. I be knowing a motherfucker foul and I'll still love them, shaking my head. Yeah, I don't do that. That's I don't know what's going on with you in that, but no, I don't do that. You see, once you show me who you are, I believe you. I'm not going to play with myself and say, is this person really who I think they are? But what did they just show me? They gave me their ass to kiss. So I'm just going to have to believe that the ass that they gave me the kiss, that's really who they are. How long is this bridge of understanding? That's hilarious. What I'm saying is, when I talk about the bridge of understanding, I'm talking about it from the standpoint of when I am explaining certain things to you. I have to create a bridge for you to cross, for you to understand it. Because I do lose people from time to time. They don't understand certain things when I say certain things. Now, I told you guys discernment is key. Discernment is key. May I suggest that some of y'all get back to your healing and start coming back around full circle and sit with yourselves and realize you still got some more work to do in your healing space. Because there was a lot of y'all that was not able to discern that wasn't even him. It's going to require you to sit with yourself. It's going to require you to do some more shadow work. It's going to require you to go deep below the surface. It's going to require you to sit with yourself. That is correct, Sunshade 7. Divine Royalty said, the info about people be tapping on my shoulder, I can't ignore it. I feel you. Facts, it's a gift and a curse when you have a big heart, but you have to know how to protect that big heart of yours, because see, what happens is when people see that big heart and they see that you don't have no boundaries, they'll take advantage of that big heart. And the truth of the matter is, you're not going to have anybody else to blame but yourself for allowing it to happen. Yes, people are assholes. They're going to do what they're going to do. However, they can only go as far as you allow them. And I need you all to remember that. I got you and you should burn it down. Some people understanding below average. That's true. That is true. You're right about that. So then at that point, do you engage with the NPCs? Because those are NPCs. Do you engage with them? Or do you not engage with them? That's the question. Yeah, boundaries is necessary. Exactly. I've been saying this. I learned my hard way with my big heart, but whatever stopped me won't ever stop me from radiating it. It's not supposed to. And it's okay for you to radiate your heart. I radiate my heart to people all the time, but there are boundaries set. Okay? There are boundaries set. Folks with big hearts need to know how and when to tap out. Y'all stay too long. That is correct. And that just has a lot to do with them wanting acceptance from others. That's what that's really about, because they didn't receive it when they were younger from their family members or their siblings or their loved ones. They just want to fit in. They want to feel like they belong to something. I get it. I feel like people should have went about things a whole different way. When you're hurt, when somebody goes out of their way to hurt you, or maybe they're not even going out their way to hurt you, maybe they were just upfront about where they stood and you decided to be a part of their life anyway. Ladies, let me tell y'all something. If a man tells you that he's a polygamist and you decide to deal with him anyway, don't get upset and try to change that man. You have a choice to make. If he tells you that this is what he's on and you're not on that, you got to learn how to be honest with yourself And you got to know how to say, you know what? I understand what you're saying. I appreciate your honesty. And even though I do have a powerful connection to you, I don't want to go down that road with you. Okay? That's not what I want for myself. But I do love you dearly. But I'm not sharing you. And that's okay. And I promise you, Source is going to send you the person that's just for you. But you got to set the boundary. Not, I'm going to get in a relationship with you anyway after I knew that you were a polygamist and then get upset whenever you do polygamous things. That's not being honest. That's not being straightforward. That's women thinking that they can change a man. And ladies, you cannot change a man. And there's no such thing as, well, maybe if I love him enough, he'll change. That doesn't exist. That's fairy tale land. It doesn't exist. You have to learn to deal with people as they are, what they show you. Don't try to change them. You change. You heal. You evolve. And if that person loves you, they're going to change on their own. And they're going to evolve, whatever that looks like for them. Someone said, thinking you bigger than the program. Yeah. They use manipulation and try everything possible to change the man from who he is. Yeah, that's delusion. That is delusional. That's just going to lead to resentment. Can only lead a horse to water. Love yourself and nothing else. Bing bong. Sometimes it's the wrong water too. Hey, I'm just saying either way. Either way you look at it. It's sitting down, having a real conversation, observing what you can tolerate and what you can't tolerate, and then making a conscious decision as to whether or not that's something that you want to deal with. That's all it is. You heal, you evolve, you work on yourself. Boom. I came in right on time. Yes, you did, baby. It leads to insanity because what? Truth, honest communication, how I'm living. We're going to turn this into a teachable moment because that's what this is. It's all a teachable moment. Now, some people say, well, you had to be so raw when you said it. Yeah, you have to say it like that. Well, that's that side of me that's just like that. Very raw, very straight, very to the point, very direct, very no nonsense, straight, cutthroat, like no sugarcoating. That way there isn't any confusion about my intention. I don't want there to be any confusion about my intention. No woman can change a man. I know, I agree. A lot of women swear they can. No, they cannot. It cannot be done. Sunset says, be raw. Truth hurts, but it can help you evolve and heal. That is correct. Full moon in Leo, raw. Only way you will be able to be corrected. Amani the Diva says, stop being so blood clot sensitive, man. Exactly, no confusion. But you got love. Honestly, without love, it's just cruelty. You doing right. Boom. You know what that was? The voice live. Yeah, that's that artificial intelligence. Y'all gonna have to, again, discern. You're still not discerning properly. Voice live, but no visuals. Come on, babies. If y'all stupid enough to fall for that, then I don't know what to tell you. I already knew that was going to be the next move, which is the reason why I said I'm waiting. Because I got something to counteract that too. So let's see how stupid individuals are going to be. AI voiceovers, too easy. And then, okay, now the trap god said this. This is the critical thinking question you have to ask. How are you doing lies from jail? How are you doing lives from jail? If celebrities can't do lives from jail, how you doing a live from jail? When you said the part about they tried to say the cell got ready, here's what y'all didn't pay attention to. There was 3 posts that were put up. If you go back and you look at the first post that was put up in that shit, y'all missed the fonts. The same font that was used when he called everybody out the first time was the same font that was used whenever they did the whole 3-part, and then it changed. So you'll see the original font, and you're gonna see 2 different fonts on the end. Like, oops, oh shit, let me change that real quick. I had peeped that already. I've started to post it in my stories, but I said, no, I'm not gonna waste my time, because people have to discern. That's their responsibility to be able to discern if you ain't paying attention. So like this last thing where they was like, oh, the agents are going to come out and we're going to speak on the agents and this, that, and the third and blah, 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 blah. I'm looking at the first font, which was the same font that was used to the other fonts whenever he came out and called everybody out. And then the last 2 posts was a total different font. I'm like, okay, you desperate. I have a critical eye. I see every damn thing. I can't help it. Listen, I hope Rashad is using this as a lesson to better discern who he chooses as a life partner. Yeah, that's a whole different discussion. Nah, they do got tablets, but a live, that's my point. I know about the tablets, but ain't no Negroes doing no lives from no prison, y'all. How you think he gonna do a live from prison and not get his ass jacked? And see, that was the biggest thing too. And I didn't want to say nothing to none of y'all about that, because I was like, I don't want to come off a certain way. But some of y'all said it on my live, so I'm just going to address it. Now that they said it out there. Yeah, how you doing lives from jail, fam? How you doing that? So you going to go and you're going to do the AI voiceover and have him talking shit? One thing about people is you cannot hide the energy. So even though you hear a voice, it's about learning how to discern the energy. And there was a lot of people that were on my comments saying, I knew it wasn't him then because I peeped the energy and how much the energy had changed. You can see the energy doesn't lie. If you're going to get out here and you're going to get out here in this space, you got to know the energy of the person that you're talking to. I suggest y'all go back and look at some of his older lives so you can get a feel for what I'm talking about. Pay attention to that energy and pay attention to the energy that's showing up right now, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That's a total different energy. And it's been a different energy on his page ever since. That's why a lot of people started unfollowing him, because every time that bro would do lives through his live, the energy was nasty and dark. Energy never lies. I thought that wasn't him. Her eyes says it all. The eyes never lie. Anatol said, I peeped how on one story it said deep download when he always says deep divine download. Boom. Okay? So Anatol caught, you see what I'm saying? When you're paying close attention, you'll know the bullshit versus the real. But you have to be able to pay attention. You got to know how to utilize your inner lens. Okay? Niji.222. I want to say something about that, but I'm not going to, because I can't. But he will be out. And he's still here. He wasn't for a second, but he's back. That's all I can tell you, baby. Folks out here believing the robots in 2026. Okay, let me get this broad up out of here. Go, get out of here, broad. Fire guys is stupid, getting on my loud talking shit. Get your ass up out of here. I remember when he messed up on the monks when he said it was like 360 days in a year. I kicked her out of my live. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you have to be able to sit there and you have to be able to discern. And you know, there was people that was really affected by that, because there was witchcraft placed on individuals from her and other practitioners. So I had to come out the way that I came out, because it wasn't just that shit. It was, let me go ahead and tell these people this lie over here on this. And let me go ahead and start spiritually attacking people. Now, I didn't feel any of that shit that she was trying to bring over my way. You wasn't harnessing my damn energy, baby girl. Protection too strong. So I know some of them brothers took some hits financially, and it was because of the stuff that she was doing. Someone said, oh, it's a she. Oh, wow. Rod Watson, you crazy. You crazy. You're crazy as hell. You're crazy as hell. Nah, but on a very real level, I just think that we're living in a time period right now where everything is coming to light. Everything is being exposed. Everything is coming to light. Everything is coming to light. Everything. And so if you're coming at individuals that are operating on a certain high frequency, and you're coming at individuals with ill intent, you're going to get exposed every single time. Now, those practitioners that she teamed up with, I feel sorry for them, because they got themselves involved in something that they should have never got themselves involved in. And they were misled. But at the same time, it's the practitioner's responsibility to do their divine checks before they get involved in anything. You can't come to me and ask me to do something for you. I'm going to check. And even after I check, I'm still not doing nothing for you in that way. I'm not causing harm onto somebody else. My skill set is to heal. Period. Not to bring destruction down on somebody else. And it ain't my job to bring karma to them. Unless I am karma. Now, I am karma. But still. People so quick to just pick and choose instead of observing. I don't go by time, but the only thing to make time for is to heal. That's it. Thank you, baby. Mr. 100% everything. I like that. Smurfette said, yeah, but nope, watch your step, because MF is grown. I didn't ever want to have to do that. And I want you guys to understand that that wasn't something I actually wanted to do. But if you're sending out, if you're trying to be malicious towards me for no reason, because you got an issue with everybody and because you need money and you're trying to harvest everybody's finances, you're trying to harvest their energy and you're trying to do all this and do all that, there's a better way to channel your anger. It's called healing. I want you guys to think about this for a minute. What makes more sense? Hiring about 7, 8 practitioners and lying to them and telling them all types of bullshit and then promise them money that you're going to get about $2,000 to $3,000 per person. And then everything backfires in your face. You're trying to figure out where you went wrong. Well, you were sloppy. You didn't know when to stop. So, not to mention, I am a chief in Ifa. You think my protection is going to allow you to come for me And you think you ain't gonna get your ass whooped. Boy, and the ass whipping is just getting started. After his experiences overall, them beings acting up, gonna get a spanking. Man, I'm so glad this shit coming out. My homeboy and I was debating if she's an agent for 2 years now. The fact that you had to question it was already, you already got an answer at the fact that you was even questioning it. The question should have never even came to mind. And then Rich is going to come for you. Let me tell you something. And you know, Shango's my father. He's the Orisha of justice. And y'all know about Yeye Oshun. And if you don't know about her, don't you dare get yourself caught up in the yellow and the honey, because my mama is a warrior. And if my mother goes into, ooh, I just felt energy. My mama's here. Lafia, mama. My mama's here. If you got to, I gotta plug my phone up because my phone is dying. Excuse me for 1 second. You play with certain energies out here, and you don't really know what these energies are that you're dealing with. Well, that's going to be problematic. You felt the chills from that? Yeah, Mama said, you rang? Yep, because she's right here. She's just flew right up on me. Mama, let me whoop her. Pretty, you discern properly. And a lot of y'all have said the same thing. A lot of y'all have said the same exact thing. Gratitude, rich rising, powerful goddess, peace, light, love, and healing. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. King Feathers Up, what's going on? Racine Bay said, my right arm had goosebumps. Longest chills I ever got. Ancient 1 2000, what up, family? Kennedy the artist, thank you for the compliment, baby. I appreciate y'all. Y'all like these waves? Y'all like these? I know y'all been complimenting me left and right since I've been rocking this hair now, honey. I appreciate y'all. Now I want you guys to understand what you're looking at. You're seeing the goddess come out. That's all that's happening here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, babies. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love the waves, no cap. Okay, well then I guess I'll just rock this for a while. I like putting my locks in braids and just braid them up and then take them out and let them do the crinkly, crinkly, crink. Lioness vibes. You know, you recognize this lioness mane, baby. You recognize the mane when you see it. Lots of glory. Boom. You know, it's like after the other day, after I said what I needed to say, it's like my shadow calmed all the way down. My shadow was like, ooh, child, I had to get that up off of me. And I know you guys were saying, I've never heard you talk like that before. Oh my goodness. I said, yeah, well, you never saw me invoke my dark feminine before. I understand. But I just want you guys to know. Don't you get it twisted, because she's right there. Brother said it be like that. Peace and abundance, big stepper. Peace and abundance. My pressure bust pipes. And I'm going to tell y'all something. For the most part, you know, I'm going to continue to keep taking the high road. I am. I'm going to continue to keep taking the high road. But I'm going to let y'all know, be wary of the AI. because I already knew that was coming next. I already knew all that shit was coming. So be wary of the AI. Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't fall for the trap. If you do hear it, just yawn it. Just yawn. Okay? Laugh out loud used to go off in Telegram. Yeah, I used to do that in Telegram a lot back in the day. But now I only utilize it for what I need to utilize it for and who I need to utilize it on. See, there's a difference. Yeah, AI deepfakes, that is correct. AI deepfakes. You know, one of the things that when I spoke to him, he was telling me that when he got to prison, he says it was shortly after that he was taken in that they got to him. He had told me that shortly after he got in there. So he probably went in there. He probably wasn't even in there a good 6 months before they got to him. Now, I also want you to understand terminology when I say certain things. I need you guys to understand the terminology, okay? So this is me creating a bridge of understanding, okay? When you hear me say things like, oh, those draconians, that's how me and him talk, because we can see past the veil, we can see past the flesh what we're dealing with here. Okay. So when you hear us say, oh, those draconians, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 it's the agents. A lot of your alpha draconians work for the FBI. Okay? Your draconians, a lot of draconians work for the FBI. A lot of grays work for the FBI. Okay? So, I want you to remember this. So when you hear me talking in those terms, or you ever hear him talk in those terms, that's what we mean when we're saying that. Okay? So even though I can show you a picture of a woman, right? And you can look at this woman's face and it would scare the shit out of you. And you'd be like, oh, that's for sure a draconian if you saw this woman. You would freak the hell out. Because one of my goddaughters had sent me a picture of her boss. And I looked at the picture. I said, oh my God. Because she said, that's a reptilian. I said, girl, that's a draconian. And then sure enough, I go and check. And that's when the scribes told me she's a draconian. I said, oh my God. Some of these folks can't even hide their faces. Some of them can't even hide their facial structures, their eyes, none of that kind of stuff. They can't even hide it. Okay? It just simply means that their soul spark in terms of who's operating that vessel is a alpha draconian. That is the aspect or the higher self that is running the show in the vessel. It is the main spark of the vessel. Okay? So when we were talking, that's what we were talking about. Yeah, as soon as I got up in there, yeah, them draconians came from my head and did this and this and this and this and this. Those agents who were draconians came for his head. Okay? So that's me creating a bridge of understanding so you understand what I'm saying to you. Okay, Toya Carter 17 said, God's divine Isis wisdom comes to us all, but it is not all who can discern the wisdom. That is true. And that is the reason why I'm taking the time out to break it down and create a bridge of understanding. Okay, Nash Smitty says, yes, my dark feminine will come out when she has to, because she's from Pittsburgh. She don't play. Okay, Sunset 7 says, it is wild you mention this. They are really not hiding it anymore. Well, it's not so much that they're not hiding it anymore. It's more so we're in the age of Aquarius, the age of revealing. So the veil has lifted. Okay, when we were in the age of Pisces, we were in the age of the hiding. We were in the age of what's hidden. Now we're in the age of Aquarius. So when you're operating in the age of Aquarius means the age of revealing. So what it is you're vibrating on a higher frequency now than you were before. Those who operate on low frequencies do not have the ability to hear. They don't have the ability to see. They don't have the ability to use their first eye. They don't have the ability to tap in. They don't have that. Okay? They're operating on a low frequency that will not allow them to see. The higher the frequency you go, the more that you can see. So that's another thing that some of you guys are also going to have to take the time out and sit with within self. If you were not able to discern Then the question you have to ask yourself, how much healing have you been able to do? How much healing are you doing? Are you vibrating high enough to be able to see the unseen, but also what's seen? Because it's only unseen to those operating on a certain vibrational frequency. So that's something I want to put out there. Okay? Intelligence doesn't always mean book smart. You got to have everything else that comes with it than just the books. Books are easy to recite. That's just memory. But you have to have other intelligences to come along with that. Kenny, the artist, I didn't see your question, baby. Re-ask me. A lot of times when I'm questioned, I don't watch the chat when I'm talking. And then also there's what you call the critical eye, where you see things that nobody else sees. Okay? So we need to stop being afraid of what we do just because others don't see. You don't need to be afraid of what you do just because others don't have to. Listen, you're not responsible for what nobody else doesn't have the ability to see, baby. That's on them. Do the work. Like Racine Bay says, factual facts. Do the work. Meditate, cleanse those chakras. And let me add in, do your shadow work. Clarity is required in order to make the most of your intelligence. This is correct. Just got here. Peace and love, everyone. Peace, peace. Go within. So, is some of them videos real when the mask comes off? What do you mean? Is some of them videos real when the mask come off? What do you mean by that? Clarify. You talking about them videos where they're showing the eyes of the individual? Yes. Now let me explain to you what that is. I'm glad you asked me that question. Y'all getting some good ones in here, but let me answer the other person's question. Slow down so I can get to some of your questions. The aspect, okay, a lot of times you guys don't realize, but different aspects can come in and out of a person at will, right? Even when I'm talking to you, sometimes I have aspects that will come in and speak through me to y'all, okay? At various different times that happens. Some of you guys even went as far as saying, I saw your face change. That's because different aspects will come and speak through me. Okay? In other words, different versions of myself will come and speak through me from time to time. All right? So, what happens is, with the aspect itself, the aspect has the ability to come through the individual and also show the eyes. They can activate the vessel. They can control the vessel. Okay? That's a real thing that does happen. Okay? So, they can slit the eyes. So whenever you're looking at the person, you're seeing the eyes slit, you're freaking the hell out, spazzing out, or you may see the eyes go completely black. I know a lot of women have told me that their abusive husbands or their men that they were with that was really abusive, right before the point where they go to attack them, their eyes go completely black. Okay, that's a very dark, malevolent aspect coming through them. Okay, it can show through the body. Yes, it can. And depending on who the higher self is, because if the higher self is a draconian, you're going to see that draconian through that person. You're not even going to be able to hide it. You're going to see it as plain as day. And also, a lot of you guys like to say the word narcissist a lot. A lot of you do not know what the word narcissist means. Okay, you guys use that anytime that somebody doesn't agree with you. Okay, or anytime a person comes off as confident, you can mistake that as being a narcissist. Okay, when you're dealing with a narcissist, let me tell you what a narcissist is. Narcissists are alpha draconians. that is their personality trait. They just came up with the word narcissist. I'm telling you, okay, when I see someone that's classified as a narcissist, I'm like, oh, that's a draconian. Because the traits of a draconian is very narcissistic. They're drainers. They're takers. They suck the energy. They siphon the energy. Those are draconians. They siphon your energy. They take. They lie. They manipulate. See, brother didn't realize that's what he married. A Draco. And that's why it don't look right to y'all, because y'all can see her for what it really is. But at the time of where he was at the time, he didn't see that. But he's seeing it now. Thank you, Esselise. I appreciate you, baby. Yes, they do gaslight. That is correct. They can be abusive. Yes, it just depends on the upbringing of that draconian. How can you tell if it's your aspect or an attachment, and can meeting someone else activate your aspect? Meeting someone else isn't going to activate your aspect. But if you have karma with somebody else, past life karma, that past life aspect and that person's past life active, they get active. Okay? In which case, you have to get that past life karma cleared up. How can you tell if it's your aspect versus an attachment? Well, if it's an attachment, it's not for your greatest good. Your aspect is another reincarnated version of who you are. So why would yourself attack yourself? The only time yourself would attack yourself is if there's seals and sigil magic placed on the aspects. In that case, then that would take place. How can you tell if... Okay, hold on. Damn, so she was setting him up on that level, just not just the feds, as above, so below. Crazy. That is correct, because that is also a karmic relationship. What about the video with I Show Speed and his eyes turning snake-like? I didn't see that, but if that did happen, it wouldn't surprise me, because people have serpents as aspects, and serpents doesn't necessarily mean malevolent. Okay, you got to remember, who were the first beings on the planet? Dragons. Dragons' eyes have their eyes like that too. So you're going to freak out if the dragon aspect of someone comes out? Every time you see something that looks like a serpent doesn't necessarily mean that it's malevolent. It's going to require you to discern. Yeah, hold on. I didn't see that live with the soundball, no. First time my STBX husband's eyes went black, I was shocked. That's when you know what you're dealing with. L the artist, boom. Wow, L, I didn't know how that went down. That's crazy. Humans are part reptile, just a different branch or cousin. Okay, first of all, stop saying the word reptile. Because reptile is associated with reptilian. And not everybody is associated with a reptilian. Do not get dragons confused with draconians, because they're not one the same and they're not the same species. Do not get draconians and dragons confused with reptilians. They're not the same species. There are different type of species, but do not get them confused. A lot of military people are that way, says eyes be black. Well, a lot of them also are Dracos. A lot of them are Dracos. You see, Dracos and also fallen Anunnaki or Anunnaki themselves have very tight armies. Okay? Very, 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 their army game is crazy. So anytime you start seeing militarization involved, 9 times out of 10, that's Draconian work. When you see the laws getting very controlling, 9 times out of 10, that's associated with Draconian. That's why you hear them say Draconian laws and things like that. That's because Draconians are behind all this. Because Draconians operate off of control. Control, control, control. That is what Draconians are about. Who do you think's running these tech companies? Draconians. They have to control what you say, how you say it, what your numbers are going to be, how many people are allowed to be exposed to you. Control, control, control. All that, when you see all that taking place, those are the Dracos. And they're in every sector of business, church, your jobs, all type of stuff. And not only just them, but also the Greys. At Air One, if you have that attachment, you need to get that thing removed. I do have an attachment removal service if you're interested. Who said they couldn't take on melanated bodies? Who told you that? Y'all be getting too y'all getting too caught up in the shell and in the vessel itself. You know a good show for you guys to watch that would really break this down for y'all in a way that hopefully would make sense to y'all? Y'all need to watch a show on Netflix called Altered Carbon. If you didn't see it yet, you need to go watch that show. Very, very good show. It talks about and shows you how people can jump from sleeve to sleeve. I'm going to tell y'all right now, people have the ability to have their consciousness transferred on a chip, on a microchip. Their destiny, their consciousness transferred onto a microchip and transferred over to another vessel. That is real. And this ain't nothing new. A lot of your ancient ones, or I should say a lot of these billionaires like Rothschilds, they're fallen Anunnaki. They've been around for a very long time. Okay? Very, 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 very long time. And all they do is jump from sleeve to sleeve to sleeve. There are people right now that I can tell you right now that are still alive to this day. They're just not operating in the same vessel. Okay? You think they're gone, and they still here. The Lazarus Effect movie shows it in real time. So you have a great aspect and it's attacking you. What does that mean? It means that you need to get rid of it. But you're not going to be able to get rid of it because it's you. So the best thing you can do is communicate to that gray aspect and tell it to stop attacking you, or come see me and I'll remove it. Reminds me of the graphic novel, The Incal. Bet, I'm going to watch it right after this live. Energy never dies, only transfers. Boom. TGT, peace. Yeah, you guys need to watch that because they don't just put these movies out there for no reason at all. They put these movies out there because these are the things that are actually going on in the real world. These things have been going on for a very long time. This technology was created by the fallen Anunnaki, okay? This technology was created by them. This technology was also created by the Greys, okay? That's why I keep telling you, when you see all these tech companies out here that's pushing all this AI, that ain't nothing but Greys. 100% Greys. 100 Zuckerberg, 100% Gray. Elon Musk, 100% Gray. Okay? Altered Carbon, it's a show on Netflix. How does one elevate such malevolent aspects? You just start healing, baby. You teach your aspects how to heal when you start healing. It starts with you. Your aspects are going to watch what you're doing. If you guys want to heal your aspects, it's going to require you to heal because your aspects are going to learn from you. Then they're going to start healing. There ain't no shortcut like, okay, well, I'm just going to heal this aspect, but I'm not going to heal myself. That's not how that works because you are the mastermind brain to your aspects. You are the main vessel to the aspects. So you have to get into deep below the surface healing. That is what my quantum shadow work course is about. It's about that deep below the surface, healing. Because some of y'all like to be on the surface when you heal. Oh, well, I'll just deal with this over here and heal this over here, but I'm not gonna talk about this or heal this part over here. I'm just gonna leave that alone. Okay? Y'all do that. Oh, I'm gonna do this work over here and focus on this. But I'm not gonna go down that road where my mom was really like beating my ass and I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm just gonna run from that. I'm just not gonna deal with that right there. I'm just going to duck and hide, start ducking. People come into the quantum shadow work course and these Negroes be like this. Oh damn, Isis shit. Damn, you didn't tell me you was gonna go straight for the wounds and shit. You did, damn. You know what I'm saying? That's how they be coming in. When the quantum shadow work course, I go straight for them traumas right from the gate. They be like, wait, hold on. I wasn't ready for that, fam. I wasn't ready. I thought you said you did shadow work, baby. This should be a breeze for you. Well, you think that's now shadow work I don't get because I accept all from me. You think that's all that's going to require for you to do some shadow work, child? You got a long way to go, Toya. If you think that's all that's required. I don't get that. Unless you go down the journey, you can't speak on what you don't know, baby. Go down the journey, then speak on what you know. Okay? Now, Elle, the artist, was in my class. She was in my quantum shadow work class. And she says, yes, I can testify to that. It goes deep, but the healing is so powerful. Boom. Leo, and you should know this already. Okay, she said, no. What you mean, Toya? Explain yourself. From the last time you spoke about dragons, been seeing them in my dreams. Good. Oh, I want to say one more thing to y'all. Tonight, 11:59 p.m. tonight, registration ends for the quantum ritual, money ritual that I'm doing tomorrow evening. So, and I don't play no Cash App games. I don't play that. I don't play Connected. No, none of that. None of that. You better make sure you're on nicestwisdom.com. You better make sure you go to events. Some of y'all are on my website, and you better go ahead and get your asses signed up. Factual facts, your healing will be your testimony. That is correct. Okay, Angelic Mo says, man, my mama quantum shadow work class is no joke. That's right, baby. That's right. And she also successfully made it through the course. I had a conversation with a guy, and suddenly, cause I did not agree with what he said, and his demeanor shifted, and when I looked at him, he looked angry, and his eyes looked black. Could he be a Draco? I don't know. Draco's eyes usually have the slanted eyes. Mr. Magnificent Hand says, that shadow work was definitely nothing to play with. Nah, you don't play with that. XJVSTLEX, did you message me on the website? Because if you did, I'll respond back to the inbox on your website, baby. If not, send me another message. Okay, Light God said, I'm already signed up ready. Yeah, I saw you, Light God. I saw you on there. I already got my ticket. Wonder Soul said, I already got my ticket. You were in my dreams, so I definitely had to join tomorrow's event. Okay, Mia. Shamanic Alchemist says, that class ain't no joke. I've been crying almost every other day. Yeah, you gonna cry. It doesn't mean anything, NF Carter 34. It don't mean anything. Of course I'm saving it. Wandering Soul. I think I sent you an email or a message. Check your inbox on the website. If I didn't respond, send me another message on isiswisdom.com. And also tell me what course that you wanted to take, because I don't know what course you're talking about, baby. Nancy Honorado says, that class is no joke. You will become online. Now, Nancy was in the class. Boom. In Naya, Nicole says, can you expand more on what the 144,000? I have no idea and so many perspectives on this. I talked about this on my lives last year. Go to my YouTube channel and watch my lives. I broke that whole shit down. I just hate to repeat myself, baby. Okay, Sparkle. Yeah, Zeph, how you gonna send me a message talking about can I send you a link to the event when you know damn well I'm gonna send the link out until the day of the event, child? You know damn well. Y'all should know me by now because y'all done been coming to my events. Some of y'all know I recognize some of y'all that are regulars coming to these events because y'all be taking advantage of all the stuff I have to offer. So y'all know damn well you don't get no Zoom link for no event until the day of. And you'll have it by noon tomorrow, baby. And it's going to be on the inbox on your website. On the website, I'm not emailing your ass. Check the inbox on your website on iceswisdom.com, baby. Is this what is happening in terms of consciousness transfer with celebrities that look exactly like celebrities that passed away a long time ago? A lot of videos about that are resurfacing. That is correct. And they do that, one, because they're making a mockery. Two, because they think the public is stupid. Okay? This is what I mean when I say that there are people that are ancient that continue to just keep jumping vessels, or they have clones that were made. Listen. You guys got to take in consideration, how do they get access to be able to clone you? Okay? This is the question that nobody thinks about, right? How many times have you went to the doctor and you've had your blood drawn? Where does that blood go when they're done with it? Do you know? Do you really know what a hospital is? Do you know who the hospitals are contracted with? What's the easiest way for them to get access to your blood? You freely give it to them. All they need is your blood. And they can clone you just like that. Okay? Everybody has clones on the earth. Everybody has clones that exist. Exactly. They take about 6 tubes of it too. Exactly. And why do they do that? Yes. And Rasheen Best says, do you know what half the words they use mean? Boom. They got your real birth star chart, so they definitely know who you are, Mr. Magnificent Hands. Boom, boom. Drop it, baby. I love to see it. Go ahead, baby. I just love how she asking them questions, forcing you to think I am the same. You know what's crazy? I was working at a place a few years back and a girl came in that looked exactly like me, down to the face mold. So I'm real, they clone Tyrone type shit. Damn, sis. Ooh-wee. Krista, I need to talk to you. You need to send me a DM. Send me a DM. I need to talk to you. See, and my doctor hates me because I don't do vaccines or lab work. If it's my time, it's my time. Hell. Confirmation bells. Okay, so all I'm saying is that you got to know what these places are when you walk into them. You don't know what they are. So they put a lot of stuff out there in Stranger Things. They put a lot of stuff out there in that show Stranger Things on Netflix. They put a lot of stuff out there. If you was able to discern and crack the codes of Stranger Things, they put a lot of stuff out. They put a lot of stuff in that series. And I also want you guys to understand something, and you should already know this. They don't put these types of shows or these types of movies out there for no reason at all. They have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. They got to tell you what's going on. Now, for those who are in the know, they know exactly what's happening. They understand the communication. For the rest of the population, it's up for us to be able to discern what's happening. And here's all I'm going to say. Stranger Things is real. Stranger Things are real. And they've been doing this to children, snatching them up, putting them in facilities. This has been going on. And testing them, testing their psychic capabilities. This has been going on. Been going on. Magnet programs. Gifted programs in the school system. This has been going on. When I was a medical assistant, I remember taking 6 to 8 tubes of blood for certain patients. Now it makes sense. Boom. They won't tell you your blood. Listen, I saw my dad twice, bruh. I saw a man that looks exactly like my father. He looked so much like my dad that my sister thought it was our dad. She showed me the picture and said, "Oh my God." I said, "What?" I said, "What the hell, Dad?" She said, "Girl, that's not Dad, that's a man." I said, "What you mean that's a man?" I said, "He looked just like Pops." She was like, "No." She goes, she asked the man for his number and everything because we got to thinking that like, damn, it was Grandpa. I mean, we knew Grandpa was a Rolling Stone and everything, but damn, I mean, you spitting out clones and shit. Dad got an extra brother we don't know nothing. I got an uncle I don't know nothing about. Like, what the hell going on? Looked exactly like my father verbatim. Exactly like him. Okay? Exactly. Same mustache, the glasses, the hair. Listen. I was like, I kept telling my sister, I said, did you get his number? My sister got his number, but she's never seen that man again. So that's a real thing. Met a clone of my father at work. Only difference is the skin tone is a little lighter. It's crazy too because he is the nicer version of my father. They purposely won't tell you your blood type. Really? I never had that problem. And see, a lot of originals are being replaced with the clones. And that's another thing that's happening too. Okay, these are the individuals that are being replaced with individuals who don't have a soul. Okay. For what purpose do they make the clone? I literally just said it. Face. And let me tell you what the 0 stands for. They told you one thing, but you do realize that 0 actually stands for original blood. Right. 0 stands for original blood. Originals. Whether it's O negative or O positive, it's all original blood. When you're an original, you have the ability to give your blood to any being out here. When you're an original. That's why they be on our asses. That's why they do the birth charts. Who are you? Then they put monitoring. They put chips on you at the bottom of your feet to monitor you, and you're tied into a system so they can monitor your frequency levels to see if you're coming online. And the moment that you come online, here come them black helicopters. Here come them drones. Here come them planes. That's because your frequency done got too high and now you're on their radar. You better get to knowing your blood type. That's why you don't give your blood out. You're not supposed to. Rossin Bay said Agent Smith. Always had problems with getting my blood type. Why? Why do y'all keep saying this? Okay, y'all keep saying this. Why would they have a problem giving you your blood type? I don't understand that. You're supposed to know your blood type in the event that something happens and you need to get blood. They need to know what your blood type is. So I don't understand why the hell they wouldn't tell you that. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, real man DeLucy says they have a cheap kit at Walmart. I did it yesterday. It's real. You literally have to ask for it. Same thing in Canada now. They don't like telling old people their blood type. I had a dream about you, Isis. You told me to come online, and I started tingling in my sleep. 99 Finest. Interesting. Wig is blown back. All right, little babies, I'm going to get off here. I just want to come on board and chop it up with y'all. I can confirm they won't tell me my blood type. Well, then why don't you go get the kit and go on ahead and get your blood type, baby? Yeah, we can't receive from others, from other blood types, but we can give. Yes, that is correct. You have to be specifically asking them. Okay, you can specifically ask for your blood type at the doctor. So if the hospital or whoever isn't going to tell you, get it from the doctor. All right, little babies, I'm off here. I'll talk to y'all later. Make sure you log on to my website, isiswisdom.com, for all your quantum healing needs. Peace.